Guys, welcome back to Mystics MMOs. I am your host, Mystic Raven. All right, so was planning on doing stuff with DCUO. Unfortunately, server went down during my stream for maintenance. Bummer. So this, I guess, gives me the opportunity to review and go over the live patch notes for Wolfhunter update 19 that hit Xbox and PlayStation yesterday. I did go over these patch notes on PC already. I've already read them. I haven't done an official whatever since PTS. And I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not planning on playing during Wolfhunter. So I'm taking a small break. But I will cover this and explain why I'm not and what these patches indicate and what's going on in the pros. There are pros, a ton of pros. I'm going to say that up front. And some of the cons. We'll get into it. All right. So Wolfhunter, new DLC. What it gives, I'll be getting into it. So, Wolfhunter. So we have two new 4-player dungeons with this DLC, which are both done very well. Hunting Grounds of Heresy and what was the other one? We have we'll get into them, but there are also some core changes, base game changes, new battleground map, recall stones for Cyrodiil, a new respec system. It's pretty good. They've made a lot of changes to Werewolf. I'll get into the meat and potatoes of this. Okay, so 2 new dungeons, new collectibles, furniture, 8 new items, base game. New battleground map. New this battleground map is pretty badass. Battleground outfit styles. The outfit styles are amazing. New PvP collectibles. That was cool too. Respect system. This was much appreciated by everybody. This is beautifully done. Our style item, champion point increase. I feel like this is just keeps getting. They need to like slow this down. They don't need to do it every DLC, but hey. Then there's fixes and improvements, base game, Alliance War PvP, some, fixes. 2 new dungeons. Okay, you have Moonhunter's Keep and you have March of Sacrifices. These can be done in normal and in vet. They're really good. I'll go over the gear. It's pretty good. As far as the layouts of each of the dungeons, they're done amazingly. They're like probably. I feel like one of the best aspect to Elder Scrolls Online is the PvE content. Any class can play any role. They make it functional, and when you go into the dungeons, you feel the ominence of the dungeon in most scenarios and how it incorporates with the theme that Elder Scrolls is. A lot of changes, though. Yeah, a lot. What it's dealing with. I feel like that's one of the strongest suits for the game. Whether it comes to trials or dungeons, no company does dungeons and trials as good as far as environmental conditions as Elder Scrolls. Elder Scrolls environmental team, whoever lays out the boss encounters, the mechanics, the environment, it's done so seamlessly. Now, it's not to exclude bugs, but when it comes to actually entering the dungeons, they're done almost just it sets the standard. It really does. And these 2 dungeons, these 2 new additions are a testament to that. Okay, so very well done. Very, very nice. I do give a props up to the PvE team on this. All right, so I'll give you the location. Moonhunter's Keep is in Reaper's March. March of Sacrifices is in Green Shade. Okay. Both dungeons include normal and vets. There are also achievements that you can earn, plus a unique player skin, which is really nice. I don't know if I'll be chasing any of this at any time soon. I don't really chase fluff. If I get it, I get it. If I don't, I don't. I don't pretty much give a shit. New collectibles and furnishings. So there's new collectibles, new item sets. Okay, so these are the new item sets that are in these dungeons. Now I will go over this. Moonhunter. Okay, this is a pretty interesting set, and I'll explain why. It gives a spell damage. It gives a spell damage. It's spell critical. Now, this is a magic, obviously, for magic tunes. When your alchemy poison fires, increase your spell damage by 600 for 6 seconds. It's really good for PvP. PvE, not so much because you'd lose DPS due to the poison proc. Now, if you're going to use a poison on the weapons, it's good for PvP, given the fact that you get that 600 for 6 seconds. It's a little bit longer than the enchantment, right? You're gonna get a little bit more bang for your buck, given the fact that you can use a poison. Problem of it is, when the poison's on cooldown, that's where you're kind of struggling, because you're waiting on the poison to have a cooldown. Plus, the application isn't guaranteed. So enchantments still do good as far as increased enchantments, but this gives you a spell damage and a poison application, and literally you can pick your poison, when it comes to that. So this set's really good for PvP. It'd be really OP in Battlegrounds, because there's a lot of debuffs. Like if you're going to use drain poisons, that is really reflected in Battlegrounds. It makes sense to use a drain poison with this buff effect to be applied to you. Now in Cyrodiil, I don't think it'll be as strong, but once again, it's a pretty good set. PvE, I wouldn't make that recommendation. So moving forward, Savage Werewolf, you're going to get max stamina, you're going to get weapon damage, you're going to get stam recovery. Really 3 strong stats here, right? But keep in mind, you won't have anything applied to the critical value. So if you're going to use a setup like this, you're still going to, if for a PvE, you're going to utilize a crit set. Now in PvP, that's no longer the case. So you can use this and stack this setup with Reliquine. So a PvP, you could stack this with Reliquine, but the problem of it is there's only one thing. You have no critical value, and you still have to worry about what? Penetration. So your penetration value has to be there. So you probably use, if you're going to use a set like this for PvE, you would use a sharpened bow. You can use a mace. You can use 2 sharpened weapons. And then on top of it, take your critical value. Now keep in mind, the sets don't proc crit, but your abilities do. So if you didn't want to go with the critical value, you can ignore that, still go with the Lover Mundus for penetration values, given the fact that procs don't crit. But if you want your abilities to crit on top of these additional effects, you can apply the critical value. So just food for thought. PvP though, very strong set. Jailer's Tenacity, healing taken, max health, healing taken, another healing taken. When you lose 7,000 or more health from a single attack, you gain major vitality for 5 seconds, increasing your healing received by 30%. Now, I like this set for tanks. I really do. A lot of the times, you see a lot of overextended cooldowns on most tank sets. In this set, you really don't see that, right? Because you're going to get healing received. There's not a lot of times you're going to take that excessive damage, but when you do, a set like this really pays off because of the vitality. And then you're getting the additional healing taken throughout the set. This is really nice, because it's based upon this application, 7,000 or more. So that's why it doesn't need a cooldown. It has to meet that standard. So if I keep taking it, Hunter have NICD buffs, must say, right? So this is really nice set. Jailer's Tenacity, I really like this set. I really do. Vicosa, I'm not happy with this set, and let me explain why. You get healing taken, which is good. When you bash an enemy you have taunted, you frighten them with a deafening howl. It's not bad. Applying major maim to them for 3 seconds. That's pretty good. Lowering their damage done by 30%. This effect can occur once every 15 seconds. So they've nerfed the duration of major maim. So we see that for 3 seconds, right? We have a 12-second downtime. But we also have to have the taunt applied. There's too much going on to apply the debuff with the cooldown. Now, honestly, I think the 3 seconds for major maim is appropriate because it can be reapplied. So I'm not suggesting to up the major maim time. What I'm saying should have been done is this be taken down till about 12 to 10 seconds. Because 15 seconds is not really making the set, you know, oh my God, I want this set. There's no real reason I want the set. Because we're not going to use a lot of it for PvE. This is mainly a PvP item. But for 15 seconds, not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's a single target effect. Now, it should be applied to every said target. So that's one of the nice things about it. So if I maim somebody with one target and I bash and taunt the other one, then I can apply it to the other one. But the 15 seconds to bash an enemy that's been taunted for 15-second cooldown, nobody's going to use the set. Okay? Just being honest. Okay. March of Sacrifices. New set. Hanu's Compassion Light. Magic Recovery. Max Magicka. Magic Recovery. Max Magicka. Now this is interesting. We have 2 5-piece bonuses. Right? When you resurrect another player while in combat, you and the player gain major heroism. That's huge. For 15 seconds, granting you 3 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. For PvP, really nice. In PvE, how many times do you want people to die? Especially if you're in the middle of a pretty extensive combat. Most likely not. PvE, and that's why you'll see that this is 2 5-piece sets to kind of justify it, right? It makes sense. It does make sense. Because this isn't always going to be used in PvE. Now, the base stats are pretty good. Whether you're going to use it, if you're going to decide to use this set in PvE, really cool. It would have application for both DPS and healing, but most of the time as a healer, you're not going to use a set like this because there's better utility sets that this isn't justified. So, moving on. Blood Moon. Medium, weapon damage, weapon critical, weapon critical. When you deal critical damage with a melee light attack, you gain a stack of blood scent for 8 seconds. When you gain 5 stack, you become frenzied for 5 seconds, increasing your melee light attack damage by 30% and attack speed by 50. This effect can occur every 18 seconds. This is a very powerful set. I'm not going to lie to you. It's very powerful. You know, even though it has an 18-second cooldown, it's really good. This set is insane. Really, it is. The only class that would not benefit from this, you can take this with or without Werewolf. Make no doubt about it. But the only class that would not utilize this without a Werewolf build as a standalone is the Stam DK. Why? Because the Stam DK is dependent more on a heavy attack rotation. So, moving on. Haven of Ursa's heavy. Max health, healing taken, max health. When you take damage while you're under 50% health, summon Ursa's spirit for 6 seconds. You or an ally can activate synergies of Ursa's or whatever to grant you a shield that protects you and the activator from 13,954 damage for 6 seconds. This effect can occur every 12 seconds. I like the set, right? The question of it is tank, when am I going to be under 50% health? I like the proc. I like the cooldown. Question of it is, the only time I have to really worry, a PvE, if I'm under 50%, something's wrong with my build. PvP, potentially. Okay. Balagor set. Weapon damage, spell damage. Really nice. 1-piece bonus. When you use an ultimate ability, you gain weapon and spell damage for 10 seconds equal to twice the amount of the total ultimate consumed. Now, I was a little disappointed with this. I wanted this set to be kind of really cool in PvE. Unfortunately, it's not. It's not as effective in PvE as what you would think. And for PvP, there are only certain ultimates that would, like the Blades. Blades would benefit from this. Why? They can generate ultimate fast. They can use their incapacitating strikes, get up extra weapon damage for 10 seconds, and keep moving forward. This is a blade. This is a blade set if I've ever seen it on both Magic and Stamina. This is a blade monster set for PvP if I've ever seen it. But anybody else, cost and execution. Now you can use it on maybe like a Stamsork as well. But Magsork, once again, you'd be dependent upon whether or not. Well, hold on. I hate when my phone rings. I should just mute it. What am I going to learn? Oh, it's school. 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, moving forward. New battleground map. Battleground map. You can mount. It's cool, and it's fun. Really cool. Keep recall stones. Haven't tried it. I do like the aspect of it, so I'm not opposed to it. Well, some changes are cool. Right. Battleground outfit styles, really cool. These are cool. New PvP collectibles, really cool. Respec system, much needed and much appreciated. This was awesome. Awesome stuff. How you can, do one single, skill at a time now. You don't have to reset everything. That was really cool. Wokenar style. Champion point increase. Okay. Dungeons, Imperial City, art and animations, combat and gameplay, monsters and monster abilities. Healers will now use minor wounds more often. Fix an issue would remain intact after exploring the mist. World bosses, some fixes, improved attacks. Okay, alchemy. Alchemy Keen Eye will now illuminate giant clams seen on the shores of Somerset. That's badass. That was actually pretty cool. I really like that. Clams in Somerset now always drop alchemy regents. Once again, that was well needed because regents were just hard to find and very expensive. Jewelry crafting changes. No longer reward. Cool. A lot of cool stuff with the jewelry crafting. Jewelry crafting in this game's badass. Let's see. Public dungeons and delves. Alright. Combat changes. King, yeah, but there was hardly no class balance. Right. We're about to get into it right now. This is where I become unhinged. We've made numerous ability changes with this latest update. Some with global implications, while others are specific tweaks and quality of life changes. Some of our major goals with these include improving werewolf gameplay and quality of life, reducing the duration of snares and defile effects. Just going to highlight over all this. Increase the viability of some older item sets. Those are the 3 main points. You can get into all the extra little details. Okay. General. Increase the movement speed of all monsters summoned from sets. PvE wasn't much of a problem, but PvP definitely much appreciated. So that was pro. Visual effects will now appear over your character's head when using detect potions. Mage Light, Expert Hunter. Mage Light didn't need it anyways. It was a fucking ball floating around you. They didn't see a fucking ball floating, beside you. Something... Nightblade missed something. Expert Hunter, which works half the fucking time. But hey, let's notify it. Moving on. Yeah, the Expert Hunter doesn't work as often as it should. Sneaking and giving notification to the sneaking or invisible players. I think this is bullshit. Nightblades have the advantage, being cloaked. The problem with blades isn't the blade itself. It's not. It's not. It isn't. The problem of it is it doesn't have any risks because detection radius. And now we're announcing when we can see them. When we have detections on. I often wonder what classes these devs play when they PvP. I wonder. Fucking idiots. Moving down. Decrease the range of 2H, dual wield, and one-handed shield unarmed from 7 to 10. I actually like this. That was a very much a pro. Time to make WW stand more than healer. Right. Yep. Ice. Okay. Fixed an issue where casting certain self-target abilities such as spike, armor, dark exchange, and view weapon would remove you from sneak. Oh, poor fucking blades. Yeah, I do agree it needed fixed. So at least they fixed it. Poor fucking blades. Enchantments. Now remember the weapon from which they were fired. This means if you fire a bow ability and weapon swap, that bow ability deals damage. The enchantment on their bow will fire. That was much needed. Teleport abilities such as Bolt Escape or Shadow Image can no longer be cast before Battleground matches started. Cool. DK. Ardent Flame. World and Ruin. The ability now also increases the damage over time component of Fiery Breath and its morph. Okay. Warmth. This ability now only snares target when you deal direct damage with an Ardent Flame ability, which all of them do. Okay. Cool. Decrease the duration of the snares to 3 seconds for all ranks. I'm cool with that. That's it. Oh no. Draconic Power. Reflective Scale. Reflective Plate. The ability now also grants 2 seconds of immunity to snares and immobilization effects. Really nice because it's costly. So I think Reflective Scale was a pretty good counter addition to the setup. You know, especially against another DK who might be using Fossilize. Let's counter that with the only class who can counter it. Always makes fucking sense to me. But moving on. Test Nightblade, Assassination, Deathstroke. The ability now only stuns if you have 120 ultimate or more. Now this did get revised because it was based off health, which I don't know why they would have done that, but this was actually made sense to me. To visually show its readiness state, the icon will change. I really like this change. Any performance issues fixed? Well, not that I've seen. They're always saying that's something they keep trying to do with each update, Ice. So, till they upgrade the servers, who knows? Grim Focus, Merciless Resolve, remove the snare from this ability. I didn't have a problem with this. I really did not. Because if I use a Merciless Resolve, I'm going for the kill shot anyways. So I didn't have a problem with removing the snare. Shadow, Aspect of Terror. Decrease the duration of the snare from this ability and its morphs to 2 seconds from 4. I was cool with that. Shadow Cloak, Dark Cloak. Fixed an issue where casting this ability was removing you from sneak. Got to fix it. That's cool. That's cool. Crippled, once again, just decrease the duration of the snare to 4 seconds. They said they were going to do that. Sorcerer, Rune Prison. Now, let's get into this. Okay, so this was a big one. Decrease the duration of the stun applied by this ability and its morph to 2 seconds from 5 seconds. That's good. I would put it at 3. But 2 seconds is fine. I mean, any good mage will at least pop you within 3 seconds. So I figured that maybe 2 seconds, whatever. 5 seconds was at the time was the longest durated hard CC in the game. It was just whatever. It was stupid. It was the most dumbest thing. Who was smoking when they came up with an undodgeable, unblockable 5-second hard CC? What the fuck were they smoking? With max range to boot. Okay. This ability and its morph can now be dodged. I never really care if it's dodgeable or not. Actually, if you put it 2 seconds, I don't give a shit if it's undodgeable. If it's at 2 seconds. If it's 2 seconds, whatever. Decrease the damage done from this ability by approximately 20%. No one gave a shit about the damage anyways. That wasn't the problem. This ability now only deals damage if the stun lasts for its full duration. I'm fine with that. This was a much needed fix. They finally listened to the duration because 5 seconds was stupid. No CC in this game should last over 3 seconds. None. And all CCs should break on damage. CCs are never meant to be an I win button in any fucking game. Yet in Elder Scrolls, it is. And this was the prime example why games don't fucking do that. But if they had knowledgeable PvPers developing the game, knowledgeable, they would have fucking known that from the get-go. But instead we have PvEers pretending to be PvP devs. Moving on. Okay, Storm Calling. Mage's Fury. Fixed an issue where dodging this ability in its morph would still apply the Execute Explosion debuff to you. Okay. That was cool. That's a cool fix. Fixed an issue where the heavy attack from this ability in its morph could not proc weapon enchantments. Yeah, that was bitch. That was this. I didn't understand this, how that even happened. But it did. It you know. Templar, Radiant Destruction, increased maximum bonus execute damage dealt by its ability. It's morphed from 480 to 330. Now remember when Radiant Destruction just kept getting nerfed? It just kept getting nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed and nerfed. And now they're finally starting to increase it again. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with them increasing this. As long as it has counter to it. As long as if I lost it or I can bash it out, cool. I have no problem with damage output. I just want the counter. So as long as we have a counter play, fine. Solar Flare, Dark Flare. Decrease the duration of the Major Defile debuff from 4 seconds. We knew that. Solar Barrage. Remove the cast time from this ability and decrease the damage done by approximately 40%. Now what was cool about Solar Barrage that they did remove the cast time. I really liked that. It gave its identity. But I feel 40% was way too extensive. It was way, way much. I think 25% would have been sufficient. 40% was excessively nerfing this. So if they increase this, I won't be surprised in the future. But 40% was way too much. That was just way too much. You know, I mean, I get it. It's instant. Don't get me wrong. But 40%, nah. Sunfire, 25. It should have been around 25. Okay. Sunfire, decrease the duration of the snare from this ability. It's more to 3 seconds from 5.9. We already knew that shit was going down. Healing Ritual, Ritual of Rebirth morph. Fix an issue where you could dodge the secondary heal. Yeah, that shit doesn't make sense either, but hey, at least they fixed it. Rune Focus, this ability and its morph now apply Major Ward, Major Resolve, and all morphs effects to you directly for 20 seconds at rank 4. Okay. This is a thing. 20 seconds is massive. In PvP, that's an eternity. That's an eternity. PvE, I can understand. I can. But PvP, that should be more like 12 seconds max. 20 seconds, it's a little extensive. You know? Without having to reapply for a 20 seconds? Standing within the area of effect now increases the Major Ward and Major Resolve effects by 50%. Now, this was a cool aspect that I did enjoy about this. So you get the bonus if you stay in its circle. So if you move, you still get the buffs for 20 seconds, which is a little excessive. I mean, it's cool, but it's a little excessive. And then they increase the bonus by staying in the area. I like that. I like this, but this was questionable. Whatever. Animal Companions, Cliff Racer, Warden. So that was the Templar changes. Pretty good for the most part. This, no. And this, yeah, questionable. Cliff Racer. Screaming Cliff Racer. Fix an issue where casting this ability would not orient your character to face the target. So I'm glad they got that fixed. Winter's Embrace. Arctic Wind. Increase the initial heal from this ability. It's more to 15% of your max health from 12. I'm fine with that. Weapons. One hand and shield. Power Bash. Reverberating Bash. Decrease the duration of the Major Defile. Debuff to 4 seconds from 10 seconds. Now, once again, they have a 4 seconds. It's a defile. It can be reapplied. So I had no problem with them taking this down. Cool. Cool. Link to this if you don't mind. Yeah, to the page. Okay. There you go. All right, two-handed heavy weapons fixed an issue where the axe blade would not stack when multiple players used it against the same enemy. So stacked effects are important in the game because you can stack. That's kind of one of the problems with sloats because it stacks. So heavy weapon axe blade, it should be stackable, but it wasn't stacking, so they fixed it. So, okay. Flying Blade reduced the snare duration from this ability in its morphs to 4 seconds. Lacerate fixed an issue where the ability in its morphs could sometimes heal you based on damage dealt from other abilities happening at the same time. Okay, cool. Can I state that when I saw Warden's animal companions, I thought about 5 to 6 pets at once? Could you imagine? That would be awesome. He'd have an army. Go get them. It'd be like Ace Ventura. I call that the Ace Ventura build. Arctic Wind is only good for applying a minor maim. Put it to 20 to 25 of your max health. The hot it provides is weak. I know. Wardens need help. Wardens didn't get enough. They don't have a hard CC. They hit hard. That's not the issue about Warden's damage. Clunky, yes. Damage, it's pretty good. PvE, maybe it's too clunky for most players, for majority. There's a couple of things that they could do to kind of, with the animation, to lighten the load on a proper rotation, but we'll get into rotation in a minute. At least the lack of. But in PvP, Wardens need help because Cliff Racer kept getting nerfed to the ground. It just kept getting nerfed. It just kept getting like smashed, man. So now we have no CC on the mag shocks. We don't have, you know, there's a lot of things that Warden needs a couple. And when I'm thinking Warden, I'm thinking we should have a root somewhere, like something. But well, unfortunately, we only have an ice CC, right? That's it for a mag. Stam Warden is hurting pretty bad when it comes to crowd control effects. So yeah, and as far as like animation goes, there's a couple of things that could lighten the load, but hey. All right, twin slashes, rendering slashes morph, decrease the duration of the snare to 4 seconds. Once again, we knew that they were announcing that was some of the changes. Pulsar fixed an issue where the ability was only applying the minor mangle to one target. Okay. So maybe that's one of the reasons I quit using it. I'd like to see an unarmed class for stamina and conjuration staff for magicka. It would be nice, but the question of it is, what they do. I said on my Christmas wish list what I wanted. And, you know, I wanted to see wands, another form of and something like a new skill line for stamina. But instead we got the Sigic Order. I'm not saying it's bad, but, you know, we'll see. The year's not over. Animal companion change to being higher amounts of pet damage. Just fuck loads. Nature healing tree, keep it. Like the heals. Frost tank changes a few abilities. Yeah, the frost tank. I still like Warden frost tank. Warden tanks look good. Warden tanks look really nice. Survivability, resource management. You know, permafrost should just be unblockable. You know, and that's the thing too. Like because it's a CC. And when that's one of your only CCs, why is it blockable? Why, you know, you made a damn good point right there in that statement. Nice. I think you hit a really like poof. You know why? When we're only looking at one CC, maybe smiting for stun, but we're dependent on wardens are dependent on ulti for CC effects. Not really. Whatever. Stam hurts worse. Stamina is hurting the worst out of everybody, but permafrost could be focused on tanking. Yeah, I see that. Bow, arrow spray, decrease. Now, well, let's get into this. This will be nice. Arrow spray, decrease the duration of the snare applied. We knew that was going to happen. Scatter shot, fix an issue where using roll dodge immediately after casting this ability or its morph would prevent the enemy from gaining crowd control immunity after you knock them back. So good fix. Snipe. Let me get a drink here. It's about to get deep. Decrease the duration of the major defile debuff 4 seconds. That's it. Now, a lot of people think this is the problem with Snipe, was the major defile. The lethal arrow. I have no problem with the debuff. None. I have no problem with this debuff. What I have a problem with is the animation to Snipe. Right? There's animation conflicts that always occur with Snipe spam. So you see one and you die. Puff. During the spam. So animation's lost. It's completely out the window. It's like, where's the animation indication that I just died. I didn't even see shit. I just croaked. I saw one little and then died. Or you freeze up. Your whole health bar freeze up and then drops the zip. You freeze. Everything freezes and you just roll. It's like, boy, man, that's pretty good. I can't roll dodge. I can't block. I can't do shit. Permafrost is a 200 cost ultimate, and it does close to 50% less damage than that. I agree, man. I agree. I totally agree. The scaling on that is weak. Is weak. It's weak. They should have scaled that. It has to do with the scaling on that ulti. How it scaled was fucked. I agree with you, man. They should have went back in and adjusted that. Warden's got screwed with this update. Templar's got a lot of TLC, which was needed. But Wardens, man, like, seriously, come on. Costs just as much as Destro ulti, yet does less damage. Yeah. Well, the only justification is the CC. But the thing is, if you use an Ice Staff, right, you get a CC. You have the chance to apply the status effect in the CC. So it has a CC incorporated. So it's like, what the fuck? And I'm still doing more damage. That's what floored me. That's what floors me, man. That's like, okay, I'm not the only awesome aspect of Permafrost. I don't need an Ice Staff to get the freezing effect. Okay, but I'll take the other Ice Staff, get a magical block, get mitigation, and then on top of it, get more damage. Makes fucking sense. Makes fucking sense. Vampire. Curing vampirism will now refund skill points. Cool deal. Dragon Essence. Fix an issue where this ability and its morph would fail to cast if you use it against crowd control immune enemies while you were blocking. Okay. Werewolf. Oh boy. Okay, so for the record, this is why I'm not playing a lot of Elder Scrolls. I'm not making a lot of builds. I'm not doing a lot of stuff. Was this right here? Well, you do apply minor maim and get major protection. Right. But that's the thing. Do you need both? Why didn't they apply that to one of the morphs and then the other morph that has the magicka? Have the one for the tanking that applied the maim and the protection. Have the other one that scaled magicka deal the proper amount of damage. That's what I'm saying. The scaling was kind of fucked. Because the thing about it is with the max magicka, it still doesn't deal more than the Destro ulti. That's where I kind of was like, you know, that should have the root, and the other one should have the tank applied effects. That's where I felt like it got fucked. Like, I was like, well, what is this, man? Why isn't one more applied for tanking role, for the maim and the protection, which makes sense, and the other one, CC, and scales high. It should scale at least as much if it's scaled properly. But with the 5% extra max magicka, you would think, but doesn't. That's the issue. And, you know, honestly, that's the issue. I don't need a CC on one that gives me the maim and a major protection. You know, if that applies a fact, you know, the other one should have the CC with the scaled. That's what I'm saying. We have a so we have a CC and two a debuff, a CC, and what? A major on one. You know, and the other one gets what? Damage and max magicka. Okay. Hello. Whatever. That's what I'm saying, man. A couple things. The chilled status effect applies to the minor maim, so any ice... Right. But what I'm saying, the major protection, we get major protection, we get minor maim. Right? But if we got one with major protection, why do we need the CC effect to be pronounced when the other one, like you said, should be dealing more, as at least equal amount of damage as the Destralty? You know? Why? Why isn't it doing that? That's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm getting a major protection, I don't need a CC necessarily incorporated. The maim's going to be applied, like you said, to the status effect. Right? So if the status effect's applied, and I'm getting a major protection buff, why should I have a CC on top of it? Why? Why isn't the CC applied to the other one? And it's scaling properly. That's what I'm asking. I mean, once again, Wardens need TLC, man. They just need it. CC's an issue. It's lacking for a stand especially. Mag has one. You know? So, their direct damage is good, though, on both ends. So as far as direct damage goes, good. It's good. Survivability, Wardens on any level is good. And maybe that's the pro to the Warden. Maybe that is the thing with the Warden. Its survivability justifies it lacking any form of CC. But if in PvP in Elder Scrolls, it's about CCs. They made it that way. The CCs in this game rule all. It rules everything. That's what the thing is. No CC breaks on damage. CC applied is an I win button. And that's why Warden hurts. That's why Warden is hurting. It's not based on skill. It's based on lack of what the other classes are bringing to the table in PvP. You know? And then line of sight issues. When we take a look at line of sight for the Warden, you know, that's another issue in its entirety that we could discuss over and over again. You know, if I CC a Warden and I'll get on the side of him, he's out of line of sight. His shocks don't do shit. His birds ain't going to be able to. He has to be within line of sight, right? He has no protective surroundings besides a shield that can at least protect you from snipe spammers. I'll give you that. But break freeze, like look at DK's. DK finally gets, you know, a counterplay towards immobilization immunity, right? It's good counter. What does Warden get? Nothing. Doesn't get anything out of it. You know? Just spam heal until you CC and then you die. You know? That's why you always see Wardens lossing everything and trying to line up everything. You know? It hurts, man. It hurts right now. It hurts. You know, now you decrease, you know, immobilizations, or speed reductions, and that's only going to hurt the Warden further because they're using birds already. Another thing I would change is the DK's Obsidian Shard should heal a friendly target and stun the enemy that hits your ally last. That's a pretty good recommendation, man. I actually don't have a problem with that. It makes sense the way you worded it. The fact it can be reflected in heal the other team or dodge and then negate it is done. Yeah, but once again, common sense. Common sense is not necessarily some people's strong points. Never understood why CC in this game is offensive. Always been mainly for defenses in other games. That's the way it is. CCs are defensive tactics. But in this game, CC is an I win button. They made it that way. They made CCs in this game dominant. They made it fucking dominant. CCs are never supposed to be your I win. CC is based upon, oh shit, CC combo up now, and you knew it was going to break, right? We always know CC breaks, right? And when CC breaks, that's counter. So it gives you ample time to apply the effect. To do what? Either, you know, reposition yourself, leave, or combo up. Not, I win. You CC'd me. I'm offended. Oh, that's so good, Phil. And don't bring the fact up in the forums unless you want to be jumped on the player. Yeah, because they justify it. They justify it. That's. But you're right. There's no other. There's so many issues that Elder Scrolls doesn't do. They don't have a PvP dev. I'm utterly convinced that Elder Scrolls does not have a dedicated PvP dev. You know, and as much as, you know, Matt is a legend, you know, he's not in the development team. He's the you know, the director. So I feel like that's the lacking aspect. They don't have dedicated PvP developers. They don't. Because a knowledgeable PvP dev would say, CCs are supposed to be defensive only. They're supposed to be defensive. Without CC, shield stackers would dominate. Well, Sorks would still do good. CCs would be the applied effect to do what? Defend the sorcerer. Right? That's what the CC is supposed to do. Defend the sorcerer so it can do its high damage output. It still would. But it would die sooner or later. Oh my god. Heaven forbid. Well, there's no problem with Sorks. We need our shield stacking and 5-second stun, right? Damn. Okay, werewolf. Let's get into this. I'm not going to read all of this. We're just going to break this fucking down because there's a lot. So there were life changes made to werewolf, right? Which is really cool. You can resurrect players while transformed. Cool deal. You can now use synergy abilities while transformed. Awesome. You can use siege weapons while transformed. Questionable, but hey, okay. Your werewolf timer will no longer tick while you're reviving in place while transforming. Cool. Updated the tooltip of the abilities and its morph to better describe all the additional effects of transforming. Nice. Fix an issue where ranking up this ability and its morph would transform you out of werewolf form. Awesome. This ability and its morph no longer increases your movement speed on spell and physical resistance as a baseline effect. Problem. These bonuses have been moved to passive. Zoss had the opportunity to define the two different werewolves, to give them definition, to really make them stand out between the two forms tremendously. Being that you could have went with the pack leader, if had they kept to the baseline effect, you'd have a tanky form of a werewolf. That wouldn't be so dominant, right? But now, and reduce damage, right? We could have done that. We could have done that to baseline. But passive placement fucked both up, because now Berserker, you can unless you're stacking bleeds, there's no point of going Berserker. There's none. Zero. There was none, because you put it to the passive abilities. So basically, I have a high damage, high resilient pack leader, and Berserker only gets additional bleed. It's like I'm a tanked wolf that deals a shitload of damage, who's stacked in high-end resistance, no matter which way I go, and I get 2 fucking pets and synergies now. They dropped the fucking ball on this principle alone. Everything was cool until you saw something like this and you were like, what the fuck? And you asked yourself, what the fuck? And you submit tickets. What the fuck? And you talk about it on your channel. What the fuck? And not only are you talking about it, but every fucking content creator is talking about it. What the fuck? And it falls on deaf ears. Try 4-man Sork werewolves. Right. Stam Sorks all day. I have a build that cost me 171 ulti for werewolf transformation. I have 52k stamina. I have over 1900 regen. I have over 3k weapon damage proc. And I'm two-shotting motherfuckers. You can two-shot people with it. Fuck you, Zoss. Unsubbed. And I'm not the only one. We were actually having this conversation on PSN last night about how many people were pissed with the stupid shit that they decided to do. Making the life changes was cool. That's one thing. Making it viable in certain aspects. Okay, cool. One thing. Giving it ungodly resistance, resource management. Are you insane? Pack leader. Direwolves now scale bonus from damage done. Okay. Direwolves now randomly alter between 2 direct damage. Okay. Previously 4. No longer use damaging snares and abilities. Fix an issue with where direwolves would not throttle their attacks against the same target. Fix an issue where direwolves would not respawn with you whenever you respawned. Heaven forbid. Blood Rage. This ability will now increase the time of your werewolf transformation. Devour. Okay, Devour is added to a free passive. Okay. Ability is now a 4-second channel. Instead of 4 seconds, cast time. Every second you spend devouring corpse increases the werewolf timer and restores health. Each corpse can be devoured up to 4 seconds. I like this. There was a lot of changes I liked. I love this aspect with the Devour. It was all cool. I really liked a lot of it. There was just certain parts that fucking dropped the ball. Here's his bounty. The ability in its morph now heals based on your max health. Cool. I'm only rocking with 21k. Whatever. Here's his bounty and here's his rage. Heals for 45%. Going up through this, I just get sick in certain aspects. Infectious Claw, updated visual effects. Okay. This ability in its morph no longer stuns. Piercing Howl. Okay. Let me read this and I'll go over a couple things. Decrease the cost of this ability in its morph to 3,510 stamina from 4,000. So it gets a reduction, loses the stun. Okay. Updated visual effects for this ability in its morphs. Howl of Despair. The synergy now grants the ally empower for all light attacks for 5 seconds. Yeah, why not? Because that's what werewolves' main attacks are, sure. Let's empower the fuckers. Previously, it granted 10% more light attacks. Yep, Pouts. This ability has morph no longer stuns. I'll be getting into this if they were already set off balance. Stipulation. The ability now also increases movement speed. Note, this bonus was moved from a baseline effect of werewolf transformation to this passive. Roar! I'll tell you what, I'll rip people through Roar. Bear needs a damage buff. Yeah, the bear needs survivability too in PvE. Get tired of fucking, I'm doing a rotation. Bear still attacking a boss and dies, and then my rotation gets ripped out. It's enough to make you cry. Ferocious Roar. This morph now sets feared targets off balance. Okay. I'll be honest with you, this is nice, but Rousing Roar is the way to go. If you're a Stam werewolf, unless you're a magical werewolf, you'd take Rousing. Why? This morph has been renamed to Deafening Roar. So Deafening. You take the Deafening, and it applies what? Major Fracture. So they get feared, and then they get fractured. The bear has knockdown basic attacks as well. The problem with it is horrid at open field combat. Yeah, it does weird shit. Like I've seen Uology's bear just go like literally, like, not even attacking anything. It just keeps running to a target and run back and doing weird shit. I was like, I don't even know, man. It's crazy. The bear's out of control. It's out of control. Deafening roar. You take deafening roar. You want to be a werewolf in PvP? Take fucking rousing roar. Just take it. Take the fucking shit. The only time you're going to take ferocious is PvE. Why? Because of the off balance. Other than that, take rousing for PvP all day. Fucking all day. Every day. Savage strength. The ability now increases your physical spell resistance by 5 and 10,000. Note, this bonus was moved from a baseline effect of werewolf transformation to passive. Fucked up again. Fucked up again. This should be on pack leader. Pack. Not berserker. Berserker should have been a damage, and pack should have been survival. So more support base, tank base, werewolf. Not pack rules all. That's what you did with this update. Pack rules all. Pack leader rules all. Yeah, he constantly playing keep up. Right. Yeah. Totally. But yeah, they fucked it up. From baseline? Oh my god. All werewolf abilities now require less experience to morph. That was cool. Curing lycanthropic. Really cool. Fix an issue or casting another ability and heavy attack. Cool. Cool. Fucking all fucking cool. All fucking cool. Okay, so let's get into the problems. You take away the hard CC stunts, right? You took away 2. In my opinion, you could have justified taking away pounce and literally kept the stun, the other stun on your piercing howl. Take away the pounce stun and do the piercing howl, or vice versa. But I feel like piercing howl should have had a stun, a single target stun, not AOE stun, single target stun. But let's be honest, roar, I'm hitting roar for an insane amount. If I get a roar off on a player, they're dead. With a follow-up light attack, you're dead. You're dead. You're fucking dead. I'm sorry. I'm now going to fear you and now rousing roar your ass. I get a 6 targets on a fucking fear. The Nightblade got nerfed, remember? Do we remember the Nightblade's fear mechanic getting nerfed? Down? Right? But yet werewolves are going to have up to 6 targets. And at the same time, a knowledgeable werewolf is going to destroy people. Noobs will fail. But I'll tell you what. Knowledgeable werewolf, AoE fear, fucking pounce, roar, swipe, dead. That's it. That's fucking it. Now let's talk about PvE rotation. They want to make it. They wanted to make it viable for PvE. Yet it has the weakest rotation in the game to date, because all you have to do is light attack. Get Relic Queen. You can use Hulking Draugr. Relic Queen. You can use the new Ferocious set and Relic Queen. You can do whatever and just light attack and apply the debuffs, and you'll be a fucking god. It's the strongest DPS in the game for Stam Tune at the moment. It's the dumbest thing I've seen. The dumbest. You didn't separate it, and then at the same time, Pack is still outdealing more than Berserker? Question mark? Question mark. Fucking question mark. You bring out a DLC called Wolfhunter. You spend all this time on the werewolf, yet you didn't give it its own, the werewolf's really substantial displacement from each other. You didn't really make the werewolves unique enough between the two. You didn't. You dropped the ball. You could sit there and say, well, you get this with the pack leader, you get this with the berserker. I'm like, it's not sufficient. I'm dealing more DPS on pack. That's not justifiable. I have the same amount of resistance applied to both. I add a monster set. I'm walking around with 30 fucking K resistance and medium armor. What the fuck is going on? 6-player fears. There is 8 players against you in Battlegrounds. OP as fuck. Right. They fucking dropped the fucking ball. If you were going, and we was talking about this yesterday. This was my issue. I would have been fine with this update had they made slight adjustments that were recommended, and had they put proper counterplay measures in. Reduce, and I'll tell you guys what's going to happen. And this is when it does, I'm going to tell people I was right the entire fucking time. And when and I want fucking, there's a lot of shit. Zoss fucked with a lot of shit with me with this fucking update. And this shit right here, unfucking excusable. Was no, the life changes were cool. What they initially wanted was cool. But taking shit from baseline to passive, not so fucking smart. When you take a look at the trickle effect. How it trickles. Not so fucking smart. The Achilles heel of this game has been counterplay. And proper application. And yet you come out with an intentionally OP fucking shit that doesn't have a proper rotation. None. Just light attack spam. And a noob can walk into this game and be OP as fuck. Just go Stamina Sork Werewolf. You are going to be a god. Make sure it's Bosner, for God's sakes. You're a god. You're a god. You can beat Maelstrom with it, just don't be a werewolf in 2 boards. And you'll even fucking beat Vet Maelstrom with no proper rotation. I guarantee it. It's just the dumbest shit I've seen. Had they taken Circle of Protection and its morphs, reduced the cost for proper counter, right? Turn Undead. Had they put Turn Undead at a more cost-effective management to properly counter the onslaught of werewolves that we're going to see, I would have been cool. I would have been like, okay, well, at least we have a proper fucking cost-effective counter towards this bullshit. But it's like, oh, just stack poisons. Okay, we can do that. I'm working on an anti-werewolf with DK. Yeah. If there's one thing that you're going to want, it's poison. But if you're a Bosner, whatever, man. Yeah, if you're a Bosner and you're a werewolf, you're in, man. You're fucking good. You got sustained for fucking days. You don't need a set like fucking Bone Pirates. I can guarantee you, if you're a fucking werewolf fucking Bosner, you don't need Bone Pirates. It's just there's a lot of shit that got fucked. Like, I honestly now ask myself, what the fuck? Who over there is testing this internally? And who's a PvPer, for God fucking sakes? To give it the most cheapest rotation in the history of the game, I didn't really care. I didn't care about that. It didn't bother me. It really didn't. It didn't. But no, the fact that they didn't understand the trickle effect and how it would apply to PvP pissed me off. It really pissed me the fuck off. Meridia's Armor called asking for a second date. Yeah, Meridian's a pretty good one. But their sustain is the problem. You have a skill line that has a shitload of sustain. A shitload of resistance added to passive. Oh, God. And now we added its damage modifier insanely, up to almost 25% across the board? I'm like, what the fuck were you guys doing, man? You gave it everything. You gave everything to both when you should have. You assume Zoss was testing. Well, I assume Zoss should have been listening to the people who weren't testing. That was my problem. They wanted to make Wolfhunter all about the werewolf. It's a gimmick DLC. Now here's my thing, and this is why I've taken a sabbatical from the game, because they're gonna nerf it. Because there will be QQs out the ass in the next 3 to 4 weeks about werewolf packs. Because the smart players will run packs, right? And they will maul the fuck out of everything. You get skilled players, not even skilled, knowledgeable players, at least players who will have the motivation to do it, running a pack and knows how to, spread out and organize play. they're going to maul armies of people. And they'll be like, well, you know, werewolf doesn't have, you know, this or that. Fucking just using a Mopot. You'll be fine. You'll be fucking fine, man. I'm going to be running Meridian's armor on my healer. Good call. It's a good call. It's single target, though, isn't it? It does have an AoE effect, does it? I want to say it's single target, but it can be reapplied to each target, I want to say. I have to take a look at it. But it's a good set. It's a strong set. Especially with this shit, I agree with you, Ice. Wholeheartedly. You know, you got to do something. Problem of it is, though, does it address the issue? Does it justify that both werewolves aren't really separated? They fucked up to the base. They went past from the base, giving them both ungodly. There's no difference other than Berserker's just a bitch in comparison to the pack leader. I'm sorry. The Berserker's a bitch to the pack leader. The only time you're going to run a Berserker is if you're running a bleed build, and I came out with a build for that. That's the only time you're going to run a Berserker. Pack leader will outperform even in the DPS without it. They could have done it better. You know, they could have, but they didn't. They went on a gimmick, and they fucking rolled the dice. I guarantee you they're fucking going to lose on this one. They're going to fucking lose. They're going to fucking fix. People are going to be crying about 6-man CC. Nobody's complaining about werewolf thus this far. Imagine you being an old school werewolf, and you've been able to CC people that much for years. And now, people are going to notice it. People are going to notice we're all getting feared. That's not right. Nerf. Now, if you're an old school werewolf, you're going to be pissed. You're going to be mad when they nerf that. And they will. They'll take that bitch down from 6 to 3. They'll cut that bitch in half. I will fucking guarantee it. King of Games took a few of his boys, went werewolf before this patch, and was tearing up Cyrodiil. Now it's going to be insane. Right. King's no joke. King knows what he's doing. Best believe it. He's going to be running packables, and I hope they smear the hell out of everybody. I can out-heal werewolves in Battlegrounds, but you have like 10k resistance. Have fun not getting one shot. They have Ice. I have a build on my werewolf that has 30k resistance and medium armor with 52k max stamina. That's no fucking joke. It's ridiculous. They didn't fucking do it right, man. They didn't. They dropped the fucking ball. And that's why I'm taking a sabbatical. And now it's based on principle. Now it's based on principle. You don't want to listen to the people who are telling you? I've got 21 years. If I fucking say it, I'm not going to repeat my fucking self. I'm not. If I'm telling you this is fucked, it's fucked. Because I know this game better than some of those devs over there. I know this game better than majority of those content creators who have no fucking clue what they're really fucking talking about. And you're going to put this shit in? Yeah, fuck you guys. I'll sit this one out. No, thank you. I know what's coming. I'm sitting this one out. And out of 2 years, me having my channel as ESO Daily, me being a hardcore proactive player for the Elder Scrolls, that you can do any class and any role, and you can do, me being the person who I was, and now taking a sabbatical from the game that I supported and I backed up for all this time. Where was Zoss at when I needed backup? Sucking other content creators' dicks. I'm not going to fucking sugarcoat it. Sucking the content creators' dicks who were fucking wrong about the game. They're sucking their cocks. But where was they when I needed the backup? Okay. Now, when I say something, and I've been working for the top companies in the fucking industry for fucking 21 years, and if I tell you something, you're not going to listen? Okay. All right. I've been doing this before when those kids were in grade school. It's going to get nerfed. Resistance will get nerfed. Fear mechanic will get nerfed. Light attack will be adjusted. And when it happens, I'll come back, and I'll be the first one to say, don't doubt me. I know people were pissed that I left the game, but don't doubt me. Don't. I'm the one that was here. I was the one giving it to you guys. Before those fuckers could even conceptualize, I gave it to you. When I told you guys what was going to happen, why Slows was brought in, why this was happening, why this was going on, I gave it to you. Not those motherfuckers. I did. And yet, I'm still one of the most hated content creators that ever played Elder Scrolls Online. Wolfhunter DLC focused on buffing werewolves and not werewolf hunting. Ah, yes! Yes, right. Yeah, it makes sense. It's a complete oxymoron, isn't it? Fucking A. Fighters Guild. Silver Bolts. Decrease the duration. Sigic Order. Few weapons. Mend wounds. Fixed. Undaunted. Trapping webs. Fix an issue. Support. Astronaut. A couple other fixes. They increased some of the sets, which I did like. This was a really cool aspect to this, was taking some of these old sets and redoing them. And I actually liked all the changes to these. I really did. There was a lot of work put in. There was. Fighters Guild Dawnbreaker spam will save us all. Oh, praise Meridian. Armor and weapons to save us. Praise the light Meridian. I beg thee. Give me extra stam so I may vanquish these fucking mutts. Fucking A. Pisses me off. It pisses me off. And now we had I felt like it was time wasted. When we have bugged shield stack. I mean, everybody's like, shield stack's working as intended. No, it's not. It's bugged. It's always been bugged. It's been bugged for years. I've proven that multiple times. It's a bug. The worst shield system in the game. CCs, I win buttons. PvP ruined this game for me. PvE, it's beautiful. It's beautiful with the PvE applications. But the PvE developers don't know what they're doing when it applies to PvP. They don't think about the repercussions. And that is what you don't do when you have PvP in a game. So when I'm PvPing and I know what's going to happen because this bug, that bug, this is going on, that's going on. I did this. I've done this. Companies would ask me, Mystic, come over here. We could use you. I'm like, okay. There's reasons. There's reasons for that. I've been doing this for a long time. And when they don't even know what the fuck the repercussions are or how to properly introduce proper counterplay, you get this shit-ass results. You get shit-ass results. Add that on top of unstable servers, right? Let's be honest. Because we're running at what? Half the frame rates and latency that we're getting, double latency that we should be getting in this era. I'm playing on a server that should have been used, what, 6-7 years ago. PvE all the way through. Right, PvE, the game's beautiful. I love the game PvE. The content, the lore, the dungeons. There's the way they set up the gear. Majority of the time, there are a few times that gets fucked. PvE, the game is amazing. Though we have the dumbest fucking rotation for a werewolf dealing the most damage. I still ask WTF every fucking day. But PvP is where the game struggles. It's been out for a year and a half now almost, and it still isn't in e-games, man. It still hasn't been sanctioned by Worlds, man, and it won't because it doesn't need balance. It needs proper fucking countermeasures. If you do that, you'd get into esports. And if you were in esports, do you guys know what it would do for this game if it was introduced, Battlegrounds were introduced into esports? Does anybody have any idea what this game would launch to if it was introduced to esports? And it could happen. It could. It's plausible. If they get a fucking knowledgeable PvP dev that marches in the PvE office and said, fuck you, you're doing that. You're not. Moonhunter Keep was a bitch last night. I haven't been in it since it's launched. I love the environment. I love the dungeons, man. I love the mechanics. I love everything they did. There's not one thing I would say bad what ZOS does in PvE. There's not. I can't criticize their PvE game. I can't. It's the PvP that makes everybody want to flip the fuck out. That's what makes you want to freak the fuck out. Get the PvE devs the fuck away from PvP. There's my recommendation. Get them the fuck away from it. MMOs in esports, or no, there are MMOs in esports. World of Warcraft's in esports. Yeah, you can't put this game in esports. It can't get sanctioned because of that, Phil. Because we got problems. We got problems. They can't get sanctioned. You think esports would allow this game? Hell, fuck no. They'd be like, okay, what's the counter to this? Well, we're still working on that. Okay. What's the counter to this ability? Oh, well, yeah, we're still working on that one, too. We figured maybe, like, if we reduce the cooldown... moving on. What CCs, what counters to CCs do you have? Oh, this is our list. No, thank you. Application. Denied. If fucking Elder Scrolls is so good in PvP, why isn't it in esports? World of Warcraft's in esports. Guild Wars is in esports. Those are MMOs. Why? Why is Elder Scrolls not in esports? I'll tell you why. Because they fucking, their Achilles heel is counterplay. God, help us all. I miss the old... Let's be honest. World of Warcraft, is it balanced? I think not. I miss the old shield system. 20 seconds on defense. Yeah, well, that's the thing that needs to change. It has to. It's bugged. Like, everybody asks me, what do you mean it's bugged? I'm like, every time you reapply the secondary effect, no spillover will occur. It's just the way it is. Priority is lost. That's as simple as I can explain it. There's a lot more technicality, but in layman's terms, that's what's going on. There's a lot more technical application to it. I can assure you on that. But in general term, it's what's happening. Priority's lost. It's just the way it's going on. Purge in the sport tree should cost 50% less on Purge on 4. Right! There's a lot of things, man. There's a lot of things that's got should be adjusted. And at the end of the day, I blame myself. I don't blame ZOS as much as I blame myself. I really don't. You know, they won't do it. They hate counterplay. Yeah, but so counterplay, well, that ruins our PvE game. Don't do that. Then we have to fix it. That would suck. Who wants to fuck with that? I say no to the counterplay. No! Mommy, they're trying to make me introduce counterplay. I don't want to. Oh. Fucking just stupid. I mean, I'm just serious, man. I blame myself. I blame myself for getting involved in a broken PvP game that I knew was broke. I thought, oh, you know, Siege Engine, Dark Age of Camelot. I remember those laggy days, but it was fun. Really laggy, but fun. Now I come to Elder Scrolls Online, which I've seen every bug to man. I've seen people coming through walls with no doors. I've seen people falling through the sky, wondering what the fuck, how did that happen? I've seen where you're riding on a mountain, you just DC and you can't relog back in. I've seen it all. I've seen it all. And then on top of it, you die to stupid shit. You have people on the brink of death and somehow they're just magically invincible. Circle protection cost almost 10K stamp. Yeah, they didn't introduce that. They could have. They could have made Turn Undead way cost effective. But did they? No. No. We're going to make Wolfhunter with no counterplay. Because that's just would take common sense and, well, we don't want to think. At all. Ever. Gilliam will save us somehow, some way. Sorry, Gilliam. I had to throw it in there. Anyways, yeah. No. This would be the #1 MMO if they had more counterplay and etc. The amount of versatility. Right. It would. It would be the #1. It'd break every fucking record. It would. It would. I totally agree with that statement. 100%. It's my favorite game to date. It is. Because of the way they did it. It was genius. It was brilliant. The problem of it is, their Achilles heel is the exact same word that you put in that statement. Counterplay. Oh my God. Because they don't have a PvP dev. They don't. They have no PvP dev who can tell them, what the fuck are you guys doing over here in PvE development? Oh, we got this cool effect. Shut the fuck down, motherfuckers. If I have to spend 8 fucking hours fixing your PvE bullshit for my counterplay, I won't come back here as nice. That's what somebody needs to do. This would be, yeah, I mean, that's what needs to happen. They need a fucking hardcore PvP dev in there. Hardcore. Someone who will tell them, fucking shut it down. Somebody who wants to fix the shit, go to work, fix shit, and tell PvE, don't even think about it. That's what needs to happen. And an entire time, addressing the one thing that needs to be addressed. Counterplay and performance. If performance and counterplay were addressed, Elder Scrolls would be the #1 PvP game of all time. It would. Next Elder Scrolls MMO joke. A sandbox taking place pre-first era. Nothing is established yet. Yeah. You know, like I said. So there are a lot of cool things with Wolfhunter. Not saying it isn't. Of course, there are a lot of stuff with, you know, the whatever. You know, you have the new Battleground map. Cool deal. You know, you have all these fixes. Cool deal. But once again, here's a piece of advice for fucking Zoss. If players are fucking telling you, what the fuck? I would listen. I would listen. Because at the end of the day, I know you don't want to believe this, Sauce, but there's this old saying with business, the customer is always right. And the customers who are testing your products are usually more right than that. Food for thought. Oh my God. All counterplay and ESO 10K resources. Yeah. That's how you counter it stuff. Just stack resources. You know, recovery is important. Recovery. And then we also have broken fucking breaks. I literally could sit on an 8K stack of stamina and not be able to break. Yeah. Nothing. Can't bar swap. Bar swap. Fuck you. My bar's screaming. My controller's screaming back at me. Fuck you. We're not bar swapping. Fuck you. We're not bar swapping. Bugging up shield stacks. Reapply shield. Now burst. Yeah, no. What would I know? I only stream my PvP live and shit. I win what, 80% of my games majority of the time? What the fuck would Mystic know about PvP? God, I wonder. What the fuck? Oh my God. Cry. Anyways, man, I'm gonna let you guys go. But it's interesting. It's interesting. A lot of good changes. But I'm going to hit them. I'm going to hit them hard with it. And what people are going to ask, what does it take to bring you back, Mystic? Well, now it's two things. When this gets giant Nerf bats, and it will, when it does, and they fix, now here's my big stipulation, when they fix the spillover problem. Dude, I have issues breaking free at 40K, right? You're asking yourself, what the fuck, man? It's real. It's fucking real. Nothing's wrong with the servers. These used servers are really good, you know. I mean, they're not used. We bought them new. I mean, but they're not up to like the elite of the elite servers. You know, it costs money. Oh my god. No, thank you. They're gonna mess with slows. They address slows. Let me explain one thing about slows. Okay, slows was brought in because they couldn't fix shit. Okay, and Roble admitted that. Okay, I'll give it up to Roble. I'll give it up to the man. At least he had the balls to say it. Okay, they can't fix it. So what do? We just introduce Oblivion damage. I mean, I can imagine sitting around the table and just being like, how do we fix the fucking perma-block shit and the shield stacking? Well, I've been playing with it for 15 minutes in the last 3 months, and I kind of realized that I can't fix it. You know? They can't. 15 minutes, man. I couldn't do it. So, I just came up with a better solution. We just come out with Oblivion damage. Right? You know, it'll stack. It'll kill them. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, good shit. Ah, okay, cool. Now, they fixed it. Players are complaining. Everybody's dying to this shit. Even the builds that aren't so durable. Yeah, I know. We'll take the first tick off, and we'll make it a projectile so it's dodgeable. Shouldn't we add a cooldown to that? No, we shouldn't do that. You know, I mean, that would make sense. And after all, we are Elder Scrolls Online. And, well, you know, if we did everything that made sense, what would players have to complain about? I mean, that's what keeps us going. You know, it's called job security. Am I right? You know, I mean, hey, seriously, come on. It's just God. The things that you'll go through in Elder Scrolls. I'm glad. I'm actually having fun. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm playing a ton of fucking games. I'm getting to try so many things, and I'm having fun. Me not playing Elder Scrolls is refreshing as fuck. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm loving it. I'm loving, like, dipping my hands here. I was on Defiance last night. I got on for, you know, like an hour or something. It was late night, whatever. So I'm fucking off in Defiance. And they added these new points, man. These defend points. Now, they're not like Arc Falls. And I was having a blast. I was with my dude. We were fucking defending. Oh, my God. I was having a blast. I was like, fucking, if they do a couple of things in this game would be badass if they fix a few things. If they fix Tryon fixed a couple minor things in Defiance, this game would be pretty badass, man. Like, no joke. Like, I was kind of shocked when they added that. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fucking cool. So, I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun. So, no love lost, no love found, you know. You know, you leave Elder Scrolls and I hope I come back. But if they don't fix the shield stack bug and they don't fix fucking this whatever direction they're planning on going with this shit, then I don't know, man. I don't know. But I'm not paying for a game or paying a company who intentionally OPs a class to sell DLCs. And if they expect me to pay for this, they're high as a fucking kite. No matter how good the dungeons are, no matter what they added, when you fuck with something, it's like unsub. I'm sorry. You just lost your money. I was cool until you did some stupid shit. Now, I'm just like, fuck you. Because I know where it's going. And I'm not going to support a company. Companies need to learn their lessons. It's like taking a kid who's playing with fire. Do you let them run around with the fire, or do you take it from them and smack their hands? Take away your money, smack their hands, say bad sauce. Bad sauce. And I guarantee you, they won't be thinking about getting their hands smacked. The only thing they want is that money back. Give me the money. Give me the money. No. 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 You put them in their place. You teach them a lesson. That's how you fix it. You have to be diligent, man. You have to be stern. No, bad sauce. Bad. So, when they'll learn their lesson, hopefully while they're at it, make a formal apology on the forums. Thank you. I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. Everybody have a nice day.